I think she fell in love with my truck, because my truck was pretty cool.
It's time for Breaking Absurdity, your daily reminder that this is not normal. Brought to you by It's Not Satire. Subscribe today to catch every ridiculous moment. Today we're in the confirmation hearing of Markwayne Mullin for DHS Secretary, and things did not start normally.
And I'm assuming we'll commence when he arrives.
Late to your own confirmation hearing is already a choice, but it somehow gets stranger from here.
To be able to have the love of my life behind me, somebody I literally fell in love with in third grade. I didn't have anything. I think she fell in love with my truck, because my truck was pretty cool. But the truth is, we didn't know what we didn't know, but we did know we loved each other. We've had God on our side.
A love story, a cool truck, and God on our side. Not exactly what you'd expect in a Homeland Security hearing, but that tone didn't last long. Because the hearing takes a hard turn into something much more serious.
The record should show, and I think will show, a lack of contrition, no apology, and no regrets for your support. You completely understand the violence that was perpetrated on me. It's really more about this machismo that you have, low impulse control. And so you say you completely understood that I was assaulted from behind, had 6 ribs broken and part of my lung removed, and that was just fine. That's something that you, I guess, approve of as far as resolution of political problems. So I guess my first question is, do you think that justifying that kind of violence sets a good example for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol?
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I didn't know the extent of your damage. When the phone call was made, I made it to you, and I tried to talk to you. You didn't engage at all. In fact, you said, get your paperwork in. It's got to be 3 days in between.
You offered no apology.
Sir?
And you offer no apology today, and no regrets. Haven't heard the word apologize, haven't heard the word regret.
Rand Paul isn't asking about policy here, he's asking about judgment, and whether violence is something Mullin actually regrets.
Not apologizing for pointing out your character.
Good.
No apology, no regret, and that becomes a theme.
But really there's a pattern of this. Let's go ahead and roll the tape.
Every now and then you get punched in the face. Well, go back to the 1800s and 1700s. They used to have canes.
And duels. They used to have duels.
Yeah. Right. And there's a way that men used to settle their differences. I'm not afraid of biting. I will bite.
What I was simply pointing out is some of the rules that still apply to this body. For instance, dueling with 2 consenting adults is still there. I was pointing out what is still
illegal for 170 years. There's no precedent for legal dueling. Even then, they fled the country.
At one point, it's not even subtle. We're talking about duels, canes, and whether sometimes people just need to be punched in the face. Then comes a simple question. Have you ever traveled overseas? And somehow that also goes sideways.
Vacations with your family. Have you ever traveled to a foreign country?
No.
You've never traveled to a foreign country?
Outside of vacation or mission work, no.
So you've traveled to Azerbaijan and Georgia. That was in your FBI report, although you just said you've never traveled.
Sir, I thought you were referring to a different time.
So you have traveled overseas, despite your previous comment.
A basic fact check that turns into a live correction. And then, unexpectedly, the hearing shifts again.
It's not about President Trump, it's about my son. He had a really serious brain injury. The president found out about it, and he gave me a call immediately, and the president offered to send his plane, his personal plane. This is the president of the United States. And I said, sir, we can't fly, we got to drive. And he took the time to come up there and see Jim. And for the next 15 minutes, he did nothing but love on my son. That one incident jogged his memory. We had to go back. When we got released a little bit, the president said, come to Mar-a-Lago and see me. We go down there, and it's amazing. And when we're leaving, dang it, I hate getting emotional. So anyways, he grabbed my son, and he said, do you know why I love your dad? Do you know why I love your dad? Chrissy tells the story better than I do. And he goes, no, sir. He goes, because he loves you. Because of you. because of you. Man, he didn't do it for any other reason. I mean, here's the President of the United States, and he did it just because he cared.
It's a deeply personal story, but also reveals something bigger, how personal loyalty and public responsibility start to blur.
Who won the 2020 election?
Ma'am, we know that President Joe Biden was sworn into office. He was the president for the last 4 years. But I do believe my job as Department of Homeland Security Secretary will be to make.
So when asked one of the most direct questions, who won the 2020 election, there's still no clear answer.
Senator, if a masked ICE or other DHS agent kills an American citizen, should local law enforcement be allowed to investigate and hold that agent accountable?
Unfortunately, local law enforcement isn't supposed to be investigating federal. That's what DOJ and FBI is for.
So you've answered no, and your answer would make ICE unaccountable, and that endangers not just the rule of law, but also the security of all Americans.
Finally, accountability. If a federal agent kills a U.S. citizen, who investigates? And the answer raises even more questions. This wasn't one viral moment. It was a pattern, from tone to temperament to answers under pressure. This hearing wasn't just unusual, it was revealing. And there you have it, another day in American politics, where absurdity meets reality, and sometimes reality can't keep up. If you want more of this, you know the drill. Subscribe, follow, hit the bell, and join me for the next round of Breaking Absurdity. I'm It's Not Satire, and trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next.